this fraud to make sure that those who really need food stamps are getting them, but also to ensure that the American taxpayer is protected. 21 states said yes, not surprised. 29 states said yes, not surprisingly, the red states, and that's where all of that data, that fraud comes from. But 21 states, including California, New York, and Minnesota, blue states, continue to say no. So as of next week, we have begun and will begin to stop moving federal funds into those states until they comply and they tell us and allow us to partner with them to root out this fraud and to protect the American taxpayers. As Joe Biden was working to buy an election a year ago, he increased food stamp programs funding by 40%. So now as we continue to roll that back. So the partnership in Making America Healthy Again is also in food stamps. So a lot of what we're doing, Bobby and I doing together is really remarkable. But again, just gratitude and joy for this work, and so grateful to you. The final thing I'll say, a lot of gratitude to Secretary Marco Rubio for wearing his Aggie maroon tie as a reflection of Texas A&M Florida handily about a month ago. So, Marco, I want to thank you and much gratitude and joy in my heart as well. Yes. But thank you.
We also have to say something about China with one of the largest purchases ever in our country, the soybeans.
Yes, sir.
And so I want to thank President Xi. We had a great meeting in South Korea. We went to a lot of other places too, but we met in South Korea. President Xi was great. And China gave us among the largest orders in the history of the world agriculture.
Sir, may I say, this is the remarkable result of real leadership and your real leadership. Just a couple of days ago, China announced that they were going to halt all purchases from Brazil because they had found some irregularities in some of the soybeans they're buying from Brazil. And what that means is a continued signal that this country and our farmers produce the best, highest quality soybeans, sorghum, etc. in the world. And what you've been able to do is open those markets up and again, move toward an era where our farmers are not so reliant on government checks, but have the markets to sell their product. Having said that, we do have a bridge payment we'll be announcing. We do next week as we're still trying to recover from the Biden. That's right.
They did not help the farmers.
Get ready.
Thank you very much.
30 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now.
Great year on the economy, but the best is yet to come. The tens of trillions of dollars that have come in investment, both the portfolio investment by companies, investment by countries, that it's turning into a CapEx boom for the U.S. Capital expenditures up 15% in history. When CapEx is up, jobs will follow. The One Big Beautiful Bill, incredible, as you said, thanks to your leadership, along with Speaker Johnson, Senator Lueders, we had that done on July 4th, which everyone said was impossible. And the great thing about that bill, sir, for the American people, is for industry, 100% expensing. Build your factory here. You can write it off immediately. But you also insisted on the four benefits for working people: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, auto deductibility for American cars, and that is retroactive. So as a result, in 2026, we are going to see very substantial tax refunds in the first quarter. So the best way to address the affordability crisis is to give Americans more money in their pocket, which is what this bill has done. We're going to see real wage increases. I think next year is going to be a fantastic year. Taxes, deregulation, energy certainty. That's why everyone with your leadership is coming to America. The bond market had its best year since 2020. Everyone said couldn't be done. So we're going to have growth. We've had two 4% quarters before the Schumer shutdown. We're going to go back to that. So not only are we going to have great growth, but it's going to be low inflationary growth. And the stock market obviously is following, but next year is going to be the year for Main Street as all this kicks in. And you came in, immigration, I called it the three I's: immigration, interest rates, and inflation. That we're killing the American people. closed the border.
Haley, please
The
start
promise
the minute.
cap interest rates are down,
can do this
and
list
the
in
10-year
18
bond
words.
again best year since 2020, and
do this
inflation
list in
led by
17
energy
words.
prices is going to roll next year.
Okay,
I
sure,
think
we
it's
can
going
do
to
16.
be a fantastic year. We
sure
can look
we
back
can
and
do
be very
this
proud of this
in
year,
15.
but I think 2026
We can definitely do this
is
in
going to
14.
be great for the American people. Thanks to you.
Actually,
Thank you very
we can do
much.
this in 13.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to serve with this great team that we've assembled. And I just want to pick up on something you said, Mr. President,
You
because you
have
hit the
13
nail on
years
the
to
head.
get your team to guess
That
all
it is
five. Get
absurd
ready?
that
45 seconds on
Democrats
the
talk
clock. Your
about
time
an
starts
affordability
now.
crisis
Energy
that they
drink.
created
Red
and
Monster.
the people around this table work every single day to address.
Rome.
You'll hear a lot of statistics today. You hear a lot of statistics in our political
Burger,
conversation. I think the most
bun,
important
seed,
statistic
sesame,
for the American people is that under the Biden administration, the
garage,
average American family lost over
curly hair,
$3,000 of household income.
afro,
And under the first 10 months of this Trump administration, they have gained over $1,000 in household income. What that says
There you go.
very
Great
clearly
clues,
is
as
that
always.
we are
Very good guessing,
fixing
guys. We
the
have a
problem
tie
that
game.
Joe
Haley
Biden
and
and the
Kath at
Democrats created in the last
250. Eric and
administration. If
Sam
you look
at
at every
250.
affordability
We'll be right back
crisis
with
that's
more
confronting the
25
American
words
people
or
today,
less. Don't
it
go
is traceable directly to a problem caused by Joe Biden and the congressional Democrats. Why did homes get so unaffordable? Because we have 20 million illegal aliens in this country taking homes that ought by rights go to American citizens. Why did tax bills get so unaffordable? Because Democrats were raising taxes while congressional Republicans under the president's leadership were now cutting taxes. Why did food get so expensive? Because we printed trillions of dollars and threw it into green scams that made our agricultural economy suffer while Americans were paying higher prices for food. On every single one of those issues, Mr. President, I think we've made incredible progress. But it would be preposterous to fix every problem caused over the last 4 years in just 10 months. I think we've done incredibly good. But what I see over the next year, and you heard Brooke talk about joy and gratitude, what I really think this season represents for me, and I think for the entire administration, is that we have now done incredible work to fix what Joe Biden broke. And I think that next year in American growth and American prosperity could be the best year that we've had in the United States of America. It's going to happen because we're all working hard. It's going to happen because we have the greatest country in the world. But I think for congressional Democrats in particular, if they want to talk about affordability, they ought to look in the mirror. We're fixing what they're broken. We're proud to do it. It's the job that we were elected to do. But I think 2026 is going to be the year where this economy really takes off.
The 3 P's of life insurance with a fixed budget
Great.
are price, price,
President,
and price.
thank you for
A price you
talking
can
about
afford,
Sarah
a
heartbreaks
price
for her
that can't
family,
increase,
and
and a price that
Andy
fits your budget.
is doing well.
I'm
His parents,
54.
Melody and Jason,
That's my
wanted me to
price.
tell you, and I
You
was
can
with
get
them
coverage for
yesterday in the
$9.95 a
hospital.
month.
He's a miracle.
I'm
I was there when
65
the
and take
surgeons came
medications.
in, and
What's my
they
price?
wanted you to know this.
Also
He's a
$9.95
miracle,
a month.
and if everyone in this country can continue to pray for that family, he's got a long road ahead of him, but he is a miracle.
For you too.
And of course, our DC
If you're age
initiative
50
is
to
led
85,
by
call
our
now
mate,
about the
the
number one
monster
most
will be held
popular whole
accountable
life
who did
insurance
this.
plan
Our,
available through the Colonial
Our
Penn
marshals, of
program.
course, are leading the
Options start at
DC Safe effort.
$9.95
We
a
have made
month.
over
No
7,000
medical exam,
arrests
no
at
health
your
questions.
direction.
Your
DC
acceptance
is
is
safe again.
guaranteed.
Working with
And this
everyone
plan has a
around this
guaranteed
table.
lifetime rate
Pete and
so your
everyone,
rate can
Scott
never
and
go
I
up
were
for
in
any reason.
Memphis
So
together
call
last
now
week.
for free
And
information, and you'll
everyone,
also
and
get the free
Bobby, your
beneficiary plan.
HHS,
And
doctors
it's
and
yours free.
medics are on the
Just for
ground to
calling.
help people in
So
Memphis
call now
and
for free
DC.
information.
In
Call
Memphis, we've made over 3,500 arrests so far. And Homeland Security, Christie, you've been instrumental in this. And it's everyone working together as a team. We even have Treasury agents out there. It's unbelievable on the ground in DC and Memphis. Of course, law enforcement for FBI, all, Cash Patel has led the FBI. We have a 100% increase in the arrest of violent criminals, thanks to your
I'm just your
leadership.
dermatologist.
DEA, led by Terry Cole.
Showing up on your
Over
face.
45 million fentanyl pills, 4,200 kilos fentanyl powder.
This right here
That
driver
is
tries
the
to be a
equivalent
yellow
of
light.
30
He can't. We get T-boned, and I'm hurt pretty bad.
347 million potential lethal doses. That's unbelievable if you've taken off the streets of our country. And the weight of all the drugs combined taken off by DEA is the weight of 17
Haley and Kath have
full
250 points. Eric and
semi-trucks.
Sam.
of the drugs just
Let's
since
meet
you've
our
been in
super fan
office.
for
The
today.
drugs
From
that
our
have
sister
flowed
station
into
Fox
this
10
country
Phoenix
under the
in
previous
Buckeye,
administration.
Arizona.
ATF,
It's Lenora.
led by
Welcome
Rob
to 25
Craddock,
Words or
has
Less, Lenora.
seized more than
That is some backdrop
31,000
behind
illegal
you.
guns. 31,000. Unbelievable act of leadership. 19,000 of those
So I tell
were
you,
from trafficking
you like
cases.
them all, you do, Lenora.
We've been sued on the legal front now. We've been sued 575 times. 575 times. More than every administration going back to
Where are you,
Reagan
just out of
combined.
curiosity?
Most recently, yesterday, I was sued by an immigration judge.
Okay,
Who we
that's
fired.
very cool.
One of the reasons she said she was a woman. I was like, I was a woman as well. 24th Supreme Court winner, President Trump, 92%
We'll take
success
it,
rate.
Lenora.
We told
Remember,
you to
guys,
take
when
a
our
walk.
teams
It's the
win big,
Supreme Court. We're
Lenora
doing
wins
it
big.
at
If we have a
record speed,
$10,000
led
winner
by
on the
John
show today,
Sauer,
she's going to get
Sarah,
high.
and Hobbs all working together. Immigration, we're winning nationwide instruction, ending DEI funding, working to secure that our federal workforce is aligned with your America First agenda, representing pretty much everyone in this room. We met with your general counsel yesterday, Doug.
I'm sending the opening bid at
Working with everyone, nonstop. ICE, of course, we're winning there with Christie. We're Brooks, SNAP benefits, won there. Marco, USA, Pete, National Guard, of course, going nonstop. Our U.S. attorneys are fighting violent crime, working around the clock to make America safe again, which was your directive. Our civil rights division. Suing Gavin Newsom 3 times now, Prop 50, keeping boys out of girls' sports, and in-state tuition for illegal aliens. We've sued over election integrity. We are litigating major universities with Linda. Thank you, our civil rights division, for everything that you've done to end DEI in our schools. Our civil division fighting sanctuary cities every single day. And of course, our antitrust division with Google. Major settlement. Our attorneys are working on terrorism, TDA, MS-13, Antifa, President Trump. We've charged more than 500 defendants with assault on federal officers thanks to your directive. And also, we have dropped countless cases against Americans that were prosecuted under the Biden administration, including J6, COVID, FACE Act, and more. And as everyone knows, we cannot talk about pending grand jury investigations, but no one is above the law, and that is what happened in our place of law. I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays. Thank you for fighting for our country.
Thank you very much. Please,
Well, thank you, President. Thank you for allowing me to be at this table. When I came on board, I knew really none of you in this last year, and it's been a year, Mr. President.
Your mental health is better. But
To
having
serve
uncontrollable body
this
weight, that's
country on
called
the
TD,
workforce.
tardive
Everybody
dyskinesia.
said the Department of Labor would be quiet, fly under the radar. You won't have to do too much. Absolutely not, because you made the American people realize the American dream is real for the American workforce. And it's been under your leadership, Mr. President, that over 2 million jobs that have been created since you started have been native born workers. And that is the difference between this presidency and this administration as opposed to the Biden administration, where mostly foreign born or federal government jobs. And I think through the private sector, over 2 million jobs of native born. And so the Labor Department has wasted no time in putting that into action with our Make America Skilled Again, either grant dollars, but the intentionality of the apprenticeship program, 1 million active apprentices across this country. We have done over 250,000 new apprentices so far in the first year and registered over 2,000 new apprenticeship programs. Why do we use the apprenticeship programs with the men and women in the trades? Because of the leadership of onshoring and reshoring, and have a lot of these companies reinvest in America. We have to build this country. We cannot do that without the tradesmen and women and the craftsmen of this country. And I think that, Howard and I, we talked about that from the beginning, and we're going to have to lean in on that, because we
need the labor force, 700,000 new skilled jobs with electricians, construction workers, machinists, and so forth. And as I traveled with the vice president as well, we see that on the manufacturing floors of this country, they're in desperate need. The Department of Labor are going to get the workforce skilled again. Working with Secretary McMahon as we move a lot of the education out to our respective states, we are now working together and we have deployed $86 million in investments, and a lot of that is in AI infrastructure jobs to have our new workforce proficient and literate in AI. And we're going to continue to lead the AI race, and we're working on that. And the Department of Labor is now creating and will soon launch the AI infrastructure and workforce hub, which we will be able to track that metrics to see exactly if these dollars are going correctly. Integrating education and workforce with obviously Administrator Leffler and I are on the road a lot together because we're talking about Main Street as well as a lot of the manufacturing jobs and how we're being an ally to our businesses as opposed to an adversary. For far too long under the Biden administration, we were adversaries to our business owners, and we want to give them a leg up always and make sure that we're paying attention. And we want our workforce to be educated. We do not need the numbers that we have seen across this country where our fourth grade graders cannot read, write, or do any math, and they are our future workforce. We have to depend on the American worker first. Also, lowering healthcare costs in line with the executive order. I'm working with Treasury and HHS, and rulemaking is underway to expand healthcare transparency and make pricing more affordable for our employers who offer these to their employees. Promoting retirement security, the department rescinded the Biden administration's guidance that restricted the use of crypto in retirement investments, and we're seeing more and more of that. Where we also rescinded the supplemental statement that discouraged the fiduciaries from considering the alternative assets for 401ks, and that will also come through the Department of Labor, that rulemaking. Ending abuse of cheap foreign labor at the expense of the American worker. We launched over 200 investigations into companies who will have abused and or fraudulently against the American worker. The Project Firewall was released. Thank you, Mr. President. We want the trained workforce, but we will root out the fraud and abuse, and we'll protect the American worker first. And slashing the job killing regulations. The department has rescinded discriminatory DEI practices, and I will tell you, reducing compliance costs for businesses as it was for DEI has saved American businesses nearly $1 billion this year by just getting rid of DEI for that compliance cost that they tried to do. So, Mr. President, continuing to skill the American worker, the American workforce is going to be my mission. We have to do it faster, we have to do it quicker, we have to build so that the American people can realize that American dream that you have laid out so eloquently. And I think it's an honor to serve under this administration and to talk to the American workers who believe in the American dream again, the pride on their face, the pride of the American worker, the skilled men and women who build with their hands. It's an honor. So thank you and Merry Christmas.
Very good job. Thank you. Chris?
Mr. President, I am honored and frankly inspired to sit at this table with this incredible team of leaders that work every day for one and only one constituency, the American people. Not this group or that group, the American people. The price of energy is very much on the mind of Americans. The biggest determinant of the price of energy is politicians, political leaders, and policies. That's what drives energy prices. Under your leadership, what we've seen in the United States is just a steady drop in the price of gasoline, a huge consumer cost for Americans. As you mentioned early on, well below $3 a gallon right now and trending downward. There are a number of stations in the heartland of America with $1.99 signs flying today. That's simply impossible without the leadership and changes you've brought. Now, of course, you can go to California, where the average price of gasoline is between $4.50 and $5 a gallon today in California. That's just bad political leaders there and bad policies in California.
Nicely done, guys. Your lists are ready. It is time to get our contestants back in this game. So please turn off the music and take off the headphones. Let's get
And
started.
electricity prices is a very
Mommy,
parallel
you're
story,
first.
but
Good
it's a,
luck.
it's a
Thank
bigger
you.
Right,
moving
get ready.
ship, so the
20
changes
words,
are a little bit
45
slower.
seconds
But
on the clock.
Americans are
The time
outraged
starts now.
at a roughly 30% rise in the average price of electricity across this country.
Hammer.
But everything we are doing together is going to reverse that. Not just stop the rises, but start the downward trajectory in electricity prices. And I can say that with confidence, not because we think these policies will work. We know these policies will work, and I'll get to that in a second. We're going to stop closing power plants. We've already done that, of course. Stop closing the coal power plants and natural gas plants that were shut down. We've got over 30 gigawatts of generators just sitting there today, not allowed to run. Well, of course, we're fixing that immediately. We're going to bring on from our existing grid tens of gigawatts more capacity. It'll drive down the cost of electricity. But if we look at the last 5 years to see what works and what doesn't work, the most Trump-aligned policies in the electricity sector were by, no surprise, one of your cabinet members, Secretary Burgum, for 8 years governor of North Dakota. Over the last 5 years, production and demand for electricity in North Dakota grew 35%. Think what data center boom's going to do, and what happened? Electricity prices went down. Didn't rise slowly, they actually went down those 5 years. That's the answer. Trump-aligned energy policies increased demand for electricity. Nebraska and Texas, more Trump-aligned states, had significant growth in demand for electricity. They had electricity price rises, but well below the price of inflation. Unfortunately, Biden brought all of us a lot of inflation. If you look at the other end of the spectrum, California, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maryland, I could go on. What happened in those states? Policies and politicians that force the building of unreliable electricity generation, which requires new infrastructure and transmission lines. And what happened? Today they produce less electricity than they did 5 years ago. A lot of spending money and less electricity. What does that mean? Of course, much faster rises in the price of electricity. Blue states have had 1.5 times faster rise in electricity prices than red states. Red states alone, less than inflation. We need to bring those policies. You are bringing those policies to the national level. We hope the blue states will come along with us, but your policies are going to start the decline of electricity prices nationwide under your leadership by just bringing back common sense. So thank you for allowing me to be part of this team. For people here who are focused on winning, special thanks to Howard and Scotty who were there with me to see the Denver Broncos win on Monday night. Now we want nationwide wins on energy for 3 more years.
And we're doing more energy production than we've ever done by far right now.
Records across the board. That'll continue to be reset every year you're in office.
Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for giving me a very interesting job. Some days it's a little controversial too, but it's been an honor to work for you. You are a great American. The fights that you pick are the right fights, and they're always on behalf of this country. So I appreciate the chance to do this job heading up this department. If you think about what Joe Biden did with the Department of Homeland Security, he used this department to invade the country with terrorists. He opened up the borders, let anybody come in that wanted to. He put them on airplanes. He let them through our airports. If they could figure out a way to get to our shores and in our country, he just opened the door and invited them in. So it's our job to get them out. And I want to thank you for this team, because I look around the table and I think every single person here has helped me do my job over the last year. They've supported us at the border and given us resources. Marco negotiates all the travel documents and relationships with other countries to take their people home. 2 million people have gone home already. The people that were here illegally, you've removed from our country and sent home. And we're going to send more home for the holidays too, and make sure that they get to be with their families in their countries. Yes. That's right. Pam, that's right. They're terrible, horrible people. And Pam makes sure she's fighting for us in court so that we can get up every day and be bold. We're going to hire our 10,000th ICE officer. Will be on the job within 10 days. So we have hired 10,000. We've had hundreds of thousands of applications. We've got within the department, TSA went through this government shutdown without any delays. They all showed up for their shifts and worked hard doing security.
And they have been absolutely fantastic. Sir, you made it through hurricane season without a hurricane.
Yeah.
And so FEMA, you kept the hurricanes away. So we appreciate that. And FEMA is deploying resources and dollars 150% faster than ever before. So somebody does have something bad that happens to them, you are immediately there helping them and telling them they have the resources to get back up on their feet. So we have built and deployed hundreds of miles of border already. You have cut the fentanyl flow over the southern border by over 56%. You've saved hundreds of millions of lives with the cocaine you've blown up in the Caribbean. And, you told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs. 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. And I think he's both, sir. He brought people in there illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs, took hundreds of billions of dollars from the taxpayers, and we're going to remove them and we're going to get our money back. And we're going to, this next year, make sure that we only put people in leadership positions in this country that love this country and have its back. So thank you for letting us get up every day and have a purpose. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. President, you're exactly right. We are saving this country. We're doing it one Main Street at a time, and we're doing it at record speed and at record levels. Under your leadership, small business optimism, according to the U.S. Chamber Index for small businesses, has reached an all-time high in the history of that index. So on Main Street, the economy is coming back thanks to your leadership, thanks to getting Biden inflation under control. Small businesses' number one concern right now is finding skilled labor, and that's why Secretary Chavez DeRemer and I have entered into an MOU to speed that workforce to small businesses that under this administration are now at record levels. 36 million small businesses have now taken on board, for the first time in the SBA's history, $100 billion. That's $45 billion in small business lending and 85,000 small businesses, most of that under your term, and $52 billion out to small business investment companies. So we are running this agency like the best run bank in the country. We are growing small businesses across Main Street, and we're deregulating to the tune of $100 billion, working with all my fellow cabinet members. And thank you for putting together the best cabinet in history. Iron sharpens iron, and thank you for bringing such a strong leadership group together. And then finally, I've walked factory floors from Alaska to Maine, and the workers, the small businesses, most manufacturers in this country are small businesses, 600,000 of them. They are so grateful to your fair trade, low inflation, deregulation agenda that is creating national security and economic security in this country like never before. And so I want to also finally thank you for bringing faith back to the White House, to this administration. I want to thank Brooke for hosting the Cabinet Bible Study and invite everyone tomorrow to Bible study and making this country something that we can be so proud of under your leadership. And I'm so blessed and honored to be part of this team. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership. I am truly grateful to be a member of your team here at this table to help support you in delivering on the promises that you made to the American people. You came in with a very clear mandate of taking on the rapid weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community and federal law enforcement, experiencing yourself the deep state abusing their power as they have against you, your family, and so many of the American people. Bring out accountability truly for those who have abused their power, making sure that the intelligence community is supporting your efforts in keeping the American people safe, secure, and free, and being the president of peace. Grateful to be in this position as your director of national intelligence to support you in these efforts. And I'll cover very briefly what we've done over the last year under your leadership and what we look forward to continuing to focus on next year. First of all, under your leadership, again, we've taken on a historic effort for transparency, declassification, and exposing these abuses